Welcome everybody to Overreaction Lunes with the Compas. I'm Fernando Ramirez. With me, as always, my co-host, my tag team partner, Gilbert Manzano. What's up, bro?
What's up, Fernando? I just saw you at SoFi Stadium for that thrilling shootout. Maybe not so thrilling for Brandon Staley in the defense, but yeah, thriller Chargers versus Lions. By the way, that reminds me of your controversial take. You're a hard grader when it comes to thrilling games. Was that a thriller?
I actually thought that was actually
Okay.
three touchdowns in the second half by the Chargers. I think it was two by the Lions, and then the field goal to win it. Yeah, I thought that was a incredible game. It was a lot of back and forth. I didn't expect the offense to really turn it on the way they did, but I mean, I guess when you have a quarterback, I'm sorry, I can't say when you have a quarterback like Justin Herbert, because that he's the problem. Don't ever forget that he is the problem. That's sarcasm for some of you out there who, but. Where's Athir? I want to talk to Athir. Where are you? I know you're here.
He's probably waiting for 2:30 Pacific.
No.
We're a little early today, Fernando.
No. I need Athir on here. I need to talk to him. I want to talk to him real quick. But yeah, obviously, Gilbert, it was a very good game. A lot of offense, not a lot of defense. Justin Herbert, 27 of 40, 323, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. Keenan Allen, dude. 31 years old, 11 catches, 175, 2 touchdowns. Quentin Johnston had his first touchdown, 4 catches, 34, 1 touchdown. He did a little bit of a Michael Jackson celebration in the end zone after catching his touchdown. I thought that was pretty interesting. On the other side, though, Jared Goff, 23 of 33, wow, he really likes the 333 yards, 2 touchdowns. The big story was obviously David Montgomery and Jamari Gibbs. Montgomery, 12 carries, 116 yards, 1 touchdown. Gibbs, 14 carries, 77 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 8 catches, 156, 1 touchdown. Final score 41-38. Came down to the wire. I knew between these two head coaches there was going to be a 4th down call. By the way, Gilbert, 8 for 9 on 4th down in this game, but I knew it was going to come to a 4th down. It did. And the Lions were the ones that came away with it. The guy next to me was like, why would you do that? Just kick the field goal. And I'm like, why would you give it back to Justin Herbert? The dude's literally the human torch right now. Like, I wouldn't give it back to him. I'm like, you have to have cojones to win the game. He's like, I guess I don't have any, because I would have kicked it. I'm like, well, I guess. Like, he's like, what would you have done? I was like, I would have gone for it on 4th down too. That defense couldn't stop you. I would have done it too. So, but Gilbert, what did you think?
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that 4th and 2 there to go and get it, because there was no defense. If you kick the field goal, you give plenty of time for Justin Herbert and Keenan Allen to go to work and probably win that game. So, sometimes I think it's risky to like kind of sit on the ball and not go for the touchdown. And I think that kind of occurred in the Commanders Seahawks game. They got the touchdown, and then Geno got the ball and they scored. So, credit to Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson. They did everything right yesterday. And Fernando, I think I saw this stat, and I know people are really into the Brandon Staley stats right now because he's been, pretty bad defensively. But, it kind of summarizes. It's more kind of also a credit to Justin Herbert. But I think the Chargers were the first team in NFL history, according to the tweet I saw. I think it's Josh DeBow from the AP, Joe Reedy's colleague, that they're the first team to score 5 touchdowns on their final possessions. The 5 final, I gotta say this properly. Sorry, they're all touchdowns, and they don't win. That's the first time it's ever happened, I think, in NFL history. If I got it right, but there's a tweet that I saw like they really scored touchdowns.
Say that again.
So they scored 5 touchdowns on their final 5 drives. They're the first team to do that and not win the game. Wow. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where obviously after the game, Brandon Staley's like, this is on me. But, I mean, that's kind of the way this has kind of gone. Like, he said that before. He's like, this is on me. And it's kind of like, well, what, how can you fix this? And that's kind of the thing. And that's kind of a question that we've been asking. I mean, obviously, Joe Reedy tweeted out the Chargers defensive stats since 2021. Points per game, 24.6, 29th in the NFL. Total yards per game, 361.5, 28th in the NFL. Rushing yards per game, 133.9, 30th in the NFL. Takeaway 60, which is 12th in the NFL. Third down conversion percentage, 42.3, 29th in the NFL. Plays of 40 or more, 41, tied for most. 50 plays of 50 yards or more, 18th, tied for most. Big plays allowed, 6.7, fourth most. So it's just the defense. There he is. There's Athir. That's who I was waiting for. But Athir,
Hey, he's here. He's probably 5 minutes early though in his
Athir,
mind.
Athir, how are your Ravens? How they doing? No, but Gilbert, obviously, the defense just it kind of has been a mess. And in on that fourth down play, Gilbert, if you notice, Sam Laporta and man, Ben Johnson just deserves a lot of credit for this. Sam Laporta did exactly what Travis Kelce did in that game against the Chargers. He just ran over, found the cushion with Kenneth Murray kind of standing there zone, and he just goes in between, catches it, comes down, and that's it. Kick a field goal, you win the game, and that's it. That's all she wrote. So you could tell Ben Johnson, and I mean, they had 2 weeks to prepare, but that's no excuse. They did their homework. They knew exactly what they were going to do, and that's why they're now 7-2, and they're one of the. I mean, I don't know yet if I call them one of the best teams in the NFL, but they are certainly a good team, and I think they have a lot of weapons. I think their defense, like I've said before, I think it's a little spotty, but just your impressions. There he is.
Yeah. Before we get back to Athir here in his comments, but I want to give some praise to the Lions, and I guess that kind of tells you how bad the Chargers defense was. But like all these explosive plays, man, and when you're balanced like that, when you got a 3rd and 1 and you just throw a 25-yard touchdown to Brock Wright, Jared Goff, that is like, and they all got fooled into thinking there was a running play. Like, yeah, you're gonna run the ball on 3rd and 1 because earlier in the game, Dan Campbell had a 4th and 5. He gave it to freaking David Montgomery. Like, it's kind of, where's that? Did I do that? That throws me off every time I see the little thumbs
That
up
only
there.
happens with, like, when Dan and I are recording. It never happens.
I wonder if people see it on the live. Let me know if you see the thumbs up. It's really throwing me off.
Maybe somebody's thumbs upping on. Not
Maybe,
me.
yeah, maybe they're liking the actual
Yeah.
live. Okay, cool. All right, that's good to know.
Everybody,
But
throw
yeah,
up a like. We appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining us on Overreaction Lunes.
but there you go. But that just tells you how many playmakers, and you got to really guess what's going to come, a run or a pass. So yeah, the 4th and 5, you run with David Montgomery. A 3rd and 1, you don't run with David Montgomery, and you throw it to Brock Wright for a 25-yard touchdown. On the biggest play of the game, 4th and 2, you throw it again to Sam Laporta. So yeah, this defense has been pretty bad. And after a while, Fernando, we'll get to the comments right now, but like, it's been 3 freaking years of trying to get this defense going. You want me to go off the names again? Derwin James, Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa. You got a Thule now. You got Eric Kendricks. A lot of star power. They even spent money last year in Sebastian Joseph Day, Austin Johnson. What have those guys done? Where's his run stopping defense at? Where's his pass defense? So it was just bad all around, Fernando. And I get the Lions are very explosive, but get 1 stop, maybe 2 stops, and that makes all the difference in the world.
Well, and not just that, but like looking at the snap counts from yesterday, Morgan Fox only played like 16. He only had 16 snaps. That was pretty
Yeah,
that was pretty interesting as well. But Jesse, thank you so much for the thumbs up. That's awesome. I like that picture, by the way. That WWE Championship at SummerSlam. That's awesome. Yeah, and that's the thing, and Derwin James said it after the game. He's like, it's so disrespectful when a team goes for it on 4th and 2 at the end of the game. But he's like, he's like, it's disrespectful, but at the same time, I understand it because they didn't want to give the ball back to Justin, which I completely, like, yeah, of course, you don't want to give that guy the ball back. But
Fernando, Amon-Ra St. Brown still running slants on this defense, man. Like every single time they went up the middle of the field, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, like
CeeDee
over
Lamb,
and over again.
Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Justin Jefferson.
Wasn't that game similar to the one in week 1 with the Dolphins and Tua, high scoring, and the Chargers still came up short on that, man?
Manuel says Lions had no respect for the Chargers defense. That's 100% true.
You're running the ball on 4th and 5. That tells you enough.
Yeah, no, and like I said, Ben Johnson did his homework. They knew exactly what they were going to do. They knew how to attack the defense. I mean, that play, and honestly, I have to give. I know I've been kind of critical of Jared Goff. Lions fans, let me hear about it. I don't know what they're celebrating, but I guess a win. That's cool. Congratulations.
When you gotta rush an attack like that, it does help you.
Those 2 running backs are very and they do a lot of different things. But the one thing that I was impressed with Goff, that touch pass to what was the tight end's name again?
Oh, Brock Wright,
Brock Wright.
the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
25-yard touchdown.
He,
Yeah,
like Derwin James, I literally felt like he was like, if his nail was a little bit larger, he might have been able to deflect it. But wow, that was a really nice touch pass to put it in there and get that in there. But I really do think that I think the Lions are a good football team. I just don't know if they can compete with the Eagles and some of these other teams.
they don't have the
But
defense, I think.
no, yeah, no,
And you
they don't.
take a victory lap. You were right on Aiden Hutchinson. Where was he the entire game?
I mean, well, there were some plays where he got into Trey Pipkins, but yeah, no. Well, the pass rusher wasn't there for either one. The only thing is in this game, well, I mean, I guess it's I honestly thought if it wasn't for Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa, that they could have had a lot more rushing yards, to be completely honest. Like there were some plays where like they would like literally grab them by their shoestrings and like yank them down, and you're like, whoa, and then you kind of look behind them and there was like nobody there. I think I saw some it was just such an interesting game because I mean, again, and this is what Dan and Dago and I were saying last night. Like, all we're talking about is the defense when we should have been talking about the stellar performance from the Chargers offense, where Justin Herbert at one point did not have Keenan Allen in there, and he still drove up the field and was able to score that touchdown and bring them to within. No, they tied the game up. So
that
very
throw
impressive.
where he threw it maybe a second before Quentin Johnson even turned around. He was like, I saw it from the press box, like he already let it go, and I'm like, Quentin, turn around, and perfect timing. It was a great throw, man. It was a
Yeah, Chargers defense can't stop a runny nose. But it just comes back to obviously the defense is suffering, and I just don't see any solutions. Like that's why I was kind of hesitant to give them so much credit for the last 2 weeks, because it's Tyson Bagent and it was Zach Wilson. I mean, the Raiders defense looked like an all-pro defense last night against the Jets offense. So I couldn't I couldn't really put that much stock into it, and that's why I wrote last week, like the Lions are going to be a real test for this defense. Like, what is this defense? What really is this defense? So I mean, I guess we kind of got an answer in a couple of weeks. Like, you go to Green Bay, that one is going to be a toss-up game in my opinion. But then the Ravens coming in here, that might be. I mean, it'll be interesting to see which Ravens team shows up here. The Ravens team that beat up the Lions, or the one that allowed that comeback by the Browns here. So
But what's the schedule
definitely
after that for now? Like, I feel like even if they lose
at
that Raven,
Patriots.
okay, so there's still some winnable
That
games
one's
on the
tough.
schedule.
Yeah,
Yeah,
at Patriots,
that's
no, Broncos come to SoFi. That one, dude, that you
okay.
can't even overlook that, because
It kind of sucks like the winnable games. The two of them are on the road, like the Green Bay one and the New England one. They're two crappy
yeah,
teams, but those are hard environments too. You know.
exactly. So okay, and then then you have Denver come here, then you go to Vegas. I believe after Vegas, it's the Bills. Yeah, you play the Bills at home, then you go to Denver, and then you come back to play the Chiefs in the season
This
ender.
screams like 8-9 season for the Chargers.
You're
But
giving them 4 more wins?
I know you're down on the road games, but they could beat the Patriots and the Packers and what's the other, the Broncos, maybe a Raider game there, and then maybe even the Chiefs in Week 18. But they can't beat the Ravens. They're not gonna beat the Bills probably. So
By the way, I love that Antonio Pierce showed up in a lowrider to the game against the Raiders, or against the Jets. I thought that was awesome. I don't know, dude. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I can say that they're gonna be 8-9. It kind of screams to me like 6-11. Like that's kind of where I'm at.
all right. Oh, get in the comments. Let us know the final record for the Chargers here.
Yeah. What do you guys think? Athir will throw it up. Oh, Athir already said 6-11.
All right. Okay. Last week he
Yeah.
was saying the Chargers are gonna go all the way, but okay. And
Yeah, Athir put, I'm officially done with Staley and
there.
so I'm rooting for 6-11. Hit
Oh
the
yeah,
reset
he
button
could
and clean house.
get a higher draft pick season, but I think it might be a little too early for that. But for now, before we talk something else on Chargers or move on, but I just want to say, like, watching Amon-Ra St. Brown and then Keenan at the same time, I'm like, that's Keenan Allen, the younger version. Like, they're the same wide receiver. I'm like, it was awesome to watch this
By
two
the
guys
way,
play.
the Chargers drafted Trey McKitty, and then 15 spots later, the Lions drafted
Don't do
Amon-Ra St.
that to
Brown.
them, Fernando.
I've
Don't
already
do
said
that
it
to
on What's Up Both. I pissed off Dan and
Wow.
Dago. Like
I had no
he
idea.
was so mad. Like he's like why would you tell me this? And I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm just saying, like they can you imagine Amon-Ra St. Brown?
Yeah, and they also got Palmer before Amon-Ra, because I know that Amon-Ra remember every wide receiver's name that got drafted ahead of him, and he always says Josh Palmer, Josh Palmer. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So I mean, and the Josh Palmer pick hasn't been bad. I mean, last year he was the one that was kind of holding it down when Mike and Keenan were both out and stuff.
Which tells you how special that performance was with Keenan and Justin. Like, they know that's where the ball is going, because no Palmer, no Mike Williams. Obviously, Quentin's out there, but it was all on Keenan. For them to kind of be productive every single play was pretty cool to see. But I know the defense is going to get the spotlight here.
Dude, that reception by Keenan on 4th and 1 where he catches it and then he like splits because Sutton was like, so Keenan goes straight, and I think Sutton was expecting Keenan to just do like a button hook or something, and that the safety was going to come up Joseph and help, and Keenan just goes straight up, and Joseph is late. Keenan catches it and then makes like kind of like he like jukes him out, and he runs into Sutton, and Keenan just takes off running for the touchdown. It's impressive, and I think Keenan, and that's what I was telling people during the offseason, Keenan's going to have a lot more down the field catches. I know people know him as like a slants and out routes and stuff and all that, but Keenan can do more, and he's shown this season he's gotten a lot more plays down the field, and I really do think that I know people, he's obviously not Tyreek Hill, but he can still do stuff down the field. And then the way he adjusts his body for a lot of these, like you can tell that he really did take, because he said it before, that he learned a lot from Antonio Gates. That's Antonio Gates 101. Antonio Gates would use his body in multiple ways. Like there were times where you didn't even know if Antonio would make the catch, and he would just adjust his body, come up, make the grab, and you're like, wow. So I mean, honestly, Keenan's body of work is incredible, and he's just getting better with age. I mean, he's at what, 890? He's at 895, Gilbert. What are we in? 9 games, 895. He could easily get to about 1,400 yards at this pace, 1,500.
What's his career high? Like that might be it. Okay.
13.
Yeah.
So, and I think he's at, if memory serves me correctly, I think he's close to his career high in touchdown. He's at 6. I think his career high is 8, if I am not mistaken. His career high is 8 touchdowns. Yeah, he might. I mean, in his 30, at 31 years old, he could easily have the best season of his career. He got 1393 in 2017. So he could easily surpass all those numbers, and I'm just really impressed with him. I mean, what the body of work and everything, and I'm glad he's finally healthy and he's doing it out there. I mean, obviously, it kind of sucks not having Mike and Josh, because I mean, obviously, if those guys were in there, this would be a lot more of a dynamic passing attack. But I really do. I think Keenan now is now 4th in the NFL. No, Keenan is 4th in the NFL in yards, but Stephon Diggs plays tonight and he's at 834. So if Stephon Diggs obviously does better than him, then he'd be 4th or 5th. But still, I mean, that's incredible to see.
Is Amon-Ra St. Brown somewhere on that list?
Amon-Ra St. Brown is not on the top 5 list. It's actually, you know what? Let's see. Could you guess it? Number 1?
Tyreek Hill.
Yep. Number 2?
AJ Brown.
Yep.
CeeDee Lamb.
3? Oh, you suck. You have the list in front of you.
No, I don't. But I'm surprised Amon-Ra is not on the top 5, because he has like 4 games in a row with over 100.
821. He's the 7th.
Okay, close though.
Yeah, he's close. Let me ask you. Well, I mean, obviously, that's it. Puka Nacua is 6th in the NFL, and he's kind of
still.
He's not having the. Yeah, lately he hasn't been doing what he was doing at the beginning, but that's really impressive. We're
asking ourselves questions here on the.
I guess we're asking ourselves questions. I know why this is being asked. I don't know if you saw, But Peter King said that Keenan Allen has a Hall of Fame career. And the funny part is, a couple of years ago, I asked Peter King on Twitter. He didn't know me or anything, but I asked him because he's like, oh, I'm at, those people. I can't do that stuff. He was like, oh, I'm at an airport. Ask me questions. And I was like, this was like back in like 16 or 15. I asked him, I'm like, why is Air Coryell not in the Hall of Fame? And he's like, oh, because of his coaching record. I'm like, that is just the dumbest. And I'm not talking about Peter King. I'm just saying in general, that is the dumbest excuse ever. This dude revolutionized the NFL.
Yeah.
But Keenan Allen, let's see. Well, Gilbert, what do you? I mean,
it's tough, man, because there's a lot of good wide receivers out there, and he's been very consistent, very productive, and I just love his versatility. He could play inside, outside. He's not just a slant guy; he could beat you on the outside as well. And that again, it reminds me of Amon-Ra St. Brown. When you need a third down conversion, you go to those two guys. So, catches, yards, and then making 4 or 5 consecutive Pro Bowls too was a nice little stretch for him. So, you don't think of Keenan Allen as like a legit top 5 wide receiver, so that might hurt his Hall of Fame, campaign early on. But I wouldn't, knock it if he makes it like on the 4th, 5th try, and it's one of those weak years. Like, yeah, of course, get him in there. Like, if guys like Torrey Holt find a way in, there's like it's kind of like that borderline where like it's gonna be tough for you. You're productive, but you're not remembered as like a top 5 guy in your position every single year.
5 1,000-yard seasons. He's 105 away from it being 6 years. He had in 2020. Remember this, Gilbert? He had 992. He had like a bogus play where he was almost at 1,000, and he got negative yardage on like a screen or something, and it moved him back to 992. But I mean that's pretty good.
Kind of like Mike Evans, right? I think Mike Evans, because he's had like 9 years in a row of this, might get in, and he won a Super Bowl. So that's kind of that's the thing too. Like, you also got to have those accolades of winning, and he hasn't really done that with the Chargers, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I mean, you know what, Gilbert? I think at one point, like, this generation of stat boys are gonna be the Hall of Fame choosers, and I feel like they're gonna look at Keenan stats and be like, dude, this guy. And then especially coming back from a lacerated kidney, a torn ACL, like I feel like, and then all you have to do is just show him the picture with his like the thing bulging, and you'll be like, yeah, this dude's a warrior. So you know what? I'll say yes. I think, well, yeah, obviously he still needs to add more, but this is the thing about Keenan Allen. I think the way Keenan Allen plays, his style of play, I think helps him with longevity. Like, Keenan Allen, in my opinion, could play till he's about 36, 37 years old. I feel like he could still contribute because of the way and the style of which he plays with. Like, he's not a guy that depends on his speed. He's a guy that depends on his body and his intelligence. And he said it a couple of weeks ago, I'm going to go until the wheels fall off. I don't think those wheels are falling off. I mean, in football years, he has those 2 years where he had injuries added onto him. So he's only 29 in football years, but I'm just doing weirdo math. But I definitely think that Keenan Allen, when it's all said and done, will definitely have a fight on his hands, because I think he definitely should be considered a Hall of Famer if he gets another 2 or 3.
Why do I feel like if he leaves the Chargers, he's gonna go on and be like the third wideout on a Super Bowl contending team and make big plays in the playoffs and kind of end his career that way? It's gonna be terrible for Chargers fan, but I don't know why I feel like we're heading that way.
It kind of seems like it, and I think I mean, it would suck to see him in another jersey, just because like you've seen him. Like, Keenan and I came in together. I mean, like, I started doing this when Keenan came in. That's why we have such a good relationship and everything. And yeah, it'd feel weird to see him in another jersey. And I mean, Keenan's that energy guy. Keenan is a dog. That 100%. I mean, the dude literally is like, he kind of is quietly the heart and soul of this Chargers team. Like, the dude, he said it. He's like, I'm a talker. Like, I'll talk. And you do see him, like, he'll make a catch and he'll start jawing at the corner or something. I feel like he really does hype guys up. Like, he's kind of like the Derwin James of the defense. Like, Derwin's kind of the engine that makes that defense move. I kind of think it's Keenan on the offense, just because of his longevity, how long he's been here. He's kind of that veteran guy.
What was that play where Justin Herbert got up and he was really fired up? Like, he went at the first down.
It was the one where he was running and he sidearmed it to Quentin Johnston.
Oh, was that the one I was talking about earlier?
It was on third down. Huh?
Okay. Was that the one where I told you where he turned around and he caught the ball? It might have been that one actually.
Yeah, and then he signaled and like
Yeah.
Aiden Hutchinson was standing like right there.
I was actually in the scrum when they asked Aiden Hutchinson about it. I was like, he really threw that? But he really got that ball off, and he's like all annoyed about it. And then he saw Herbert celebrating in his face, and he's like shocked about it. Like, oh, he's actually celebrating because he got that off. Like he was so shocked. So
Somebody asked Herbert about it, and Herbert was like, I didn't mean any disrespect by it. It's like, no, Justin, like it wasn't disrespect. Like you're good, you're okay to do. That's why he needs Dan and Dago to be his mouthpiece. Like Dan and Dago would no, but in all seriousness, obviously he didn't mean to do that. He's just fired up for the moment. But see, that's where I think Quentin Johnston, like for all the hoopla he's kind of gotten, like there he was really smart. Like he moved up, he saw that it wasn't like he was gonna get covered, and he kind of slid. I was watching him the whole time. He kind of slid over to his left, and wait, no, he's running this way. He slid over to his right, and he got open, and he was able to make the catch. He came down with it, and you're like, wow, okay, like he wait, like what I'm trying to say is guys aren't standing around and just watching Justin, like they're moving around. Oh, this is Marty. Marty played with Dan and Dago in high school. So he's like, throw Dan and Dago at quick guard. I don't know about that. But yeah, exactly. Gilbert, remember that picture that I showed you of Dan? The one where he used to play, you said it was holding.
Oh yeah. Yeah. All CIF one year, maybe. I don't know, or honorable mention one year.
But Marty, how are you doing, man? Thank you so much for jumping on. But definitely, Gilbert, and that's the thing about this is that guys are moving around. They're trying to and look who's here.
Aren't you supposed to be working or something? Go watch film. Get out of here.
But yeah, Gilbert, I really thought that was a interesting play. I mean, he gets up and he just fired up to really keep on going. But I thought I know that the Chargers offensive line, I thought they did a little bit better against running the football yesterday. Still not 100%. Herbert didn't take any sacks, which I guess was the best thing for him. Yeah, but they kind of did throw some pressure his way, and he got hit a couple of times. But I really thought that I really thought that they did that. That the offensive line performed better than they did against the Jets. But yeah, that's wow. Right. That's almost 30 minutes of Athir wants you to answer some questions.
Okay, what do we got here?
No, Athir, I don't think so. I'd be very. I don't think. I don't know if that Gates touchdown record
what is it anyways. What's the number?
I think it's 118. I believe. Let me see. Touchdown. Well, talk. Just say something.
Oh, sorry. You had it already.
I'm trying. No.
I have no idea what the touchdown record is, but
Gates at 118 and Kelsey is at 92. Okay, never mind.
Yeah. What is that? Okay. Like
that's about
10 touchdowns 26 the next 2 seasons? Yeah, or more, really? Well, 98, 118. Am I doing terrible math?
26. Yeah, 26.
What did you say? 118 and what else?
92.
Oh, okay, you're right. Okay.
So 20,
maybe if he plays 3 seasons, he could get it.
34 years old. He has Taylor Swift on his mind. I don't know.
He's kind of been off this year, so it might be tough. Maybe not. I don't know. But
yeah, it might be a little bit tough. You know what, Athir, though? That's a good question, man. And I know you're crying, you're sad, your Ravens lost. It's all good. Don't worry. But let's see. The Ravens. Oh, well, are we going? Yeah. Oh, okay. We're going
not yet, but we're gonna finish with them. So
all right, we're going with CJ Stroud. Man, you want to talk about thrillers? That I could hear some of the people in front of us talking about the game. And everybody's like, "Oh my God!" Like Joe Burrow just took the lead, or did they take the lead? Yeah, they took the lead.
Yeah, they were 27. No, yeah, no, I think they tied it.
No, they tied it.
Yeah,
they tied it, and it's like, and everybody was just amazed by CJ Stroud. Gilbert, when we talk about just the way, I mean, this game it had everything. I mean, Burrow threw 2 picks, but then kind of turned it on. 27-40. 347, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Jamar Chase, 5 catches, 124. He had a long of 64. Tyler Boyd, 8 catches, 117, a long of 64. On the other side, Devin Singletary, 30 carries, 150 and 1 touchdown.
Surprising.
CJ Stroud, 23 and 9 of 39, 356, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. And what's his name? Brown.
Noah Brown.
Noah Brown. 7 catches, 172. Gilbert, did you hear that some guy hit like a 5.5 million parlay on this game?
Like, do you remember the legs or what was on it?
I could look it up, but
all right, then I'll give you my takeaways here. But
yeah.
You know, this is CJ Stroud had better numbers against the Buccaneers, but this was a better performance because it was against the Bengals on the road, a very good defense, and CJ Stroud was just picking them apart. Yeah, he made a few mistakes, but like, you know, they had no answers for the kid, man. He kept throwing the ball to, like you mentioned, Noah Brown and Tank Dell. Nico Collins wasn't even playing. Dalton Schultz was making plays. Devin Singletary made plays too. So, man, and to do it too, Fernando, like he's for sure in the MVP conversation, putting up the numbers, but also getting game-winning drives back-to-back now and outplaying Joe Burrow. And Fernando, I want to take you back real quick to the draft process. People kept saying, yeah, he's accurate, he's a pocket passer, but there's no upside. There's no creativity. He's not a mobile quarterback. At best, he could be Dak Prescott. Somebody said at best Dak Prescott. No, this guy could be Joe Burrow. Like they are the same kind of quarterback, you know, so accurate, savvy in the pocket. So, you know, that to outplay the guy, man, that was pretty cool to see. But what did you got on that parlay?
Okay, so it's a 4-leg parlay. The Houston Texans to beat the Cincinnati Bengals. The Texans and Bengals to go over 44.5 points. Okay. Devin Singletary to score a touchdown. Whoa. Singletary to go over 51.5 rushing yards.
Is this like
he bet $500,000 and he made 5.5 million.
All right, somebody must have told this guy, hey, like Singletary's gonna go off. There's some he's fresh. He's not dealing with an injury. Something. It's kind of weird to bet on Singletary that much, you know.
Thier now wants to pat himself on the back. Gilbert, I said to you and Victor on Thursday, upset special.
Oh, he did. Yeah, there you go. You got one. Yeah, he did say the Texans.
Why didn't you bet $500,000 on the game, Thier? You would have won 5.5 million, and then you could have invested enough.
Not that confident, man. But yeah, you're still 1-2. The Lions won and the Ravens lost,
and the Chargers lost.
So he's that's part of the
yeah.
But that's a good one though. I wanted to go with the Texans, but I wasn't ready to buy the hype. So good for you.
I saw Shannon Sharp tweeted out that he feels like CJ Stroud is kind of like he's been the best quarterback this year, that he should be in the MVP discussion. I know everybody's like, Fernando's about to crap on him. I'm actually not. I was very surprised that Shannon Sharp didn't, I mean, him being a former NFL player and everything, didn't see the bigger picture of this. CJ Stroud has been the most consistent quarterback this year. He's been the one that has put up the most, like there hasn't been once where we're like, oh, that offense. Well, okay, maybe the
Panthers.
Maybe the Panthers game. But other than that, I thought he's put up better performances than a lot of the other quarterbacks that everybody has in their in their quarterback in their.
Of course, the Jaguars, like earlier in the season, we all forgot about it.
Exactly. That one, this one, the one against Tampa. I mean, there's more positives than there are negatives. But I really do think I don't think they'll give it to him.
One more. The Falcons won. Yeah. He balled out, but they came up short. I think I remember that one. They lost in
Atlanta. Yeah. But the problem is I don't think they'll give it to him because they're not going to want to give the MVP. This isn't the Heisman where they could give it to a Johnny Manziel. Like they're going to wait and maybe give it to like a Tyreek Hill or a Mahomes or I don't know if they'll give it to a receiver. But if this kid gets the Texans into the playoffs. Shoot, if the Texans win the division with him as the quarterback, then the MVP should be given to this kid and offensive, or just give him the MVP and give somebody else offensive rookie of the year or whatever.
They gotta take both.
What I'm saying is this kid
win
is
MVP,
very
you gotta be rookie of the year, Fernando.
Huh?
If you win MVP, you gotta be the rookie of the year at the same time.
You think so?
Oh yeah, it's kind of like the best player in football can't even be the rookie of the year.
Yeah, but you give it to somebody else to give. The NFL isn't what it used to be. It's not about who earned it. It's about what's fair for everybody.
All right.
And yeah, but I'm just saying. But I really do think that this kid is very impressive. I think he has the poise, the demeanor. He's a Mulangetta guy, so obviously those Ramsey. Derwin James, Kevin Byard, like they're those guys. Like he gets clients that have grit. So, but I really do think that that he is special, and I'm interested to see what the Texans can. And I'm already looking ahead, but I'm like, can you imagine a whole off season? Like, what can they do with him? By the way, their offensive coordinator, I forgot his
Yeah,
name.
Bobby Slowick. Yeah, I think.
There you go, Bobby Slowick. He, because of this, he's gonna get now looked at for head coaching jobs
Yeah.
and all that this upcoming offseason. So I just think that they've done a really good job with CJ. They've kind of, and obviously coming in, there was more negativity around him, so the expectations weren't that high. The expectations were more for Bryce Young. But wow, like this kid is really
Dude,
he's done a
I
great
think the
job.
Texans won either 4 or less games the last 3 years. Like every year is either 3 or
Yeah.
4 victories. They got 5 already. Like that kind of tells you how much he's really changed his franchise in half a season.
Yeah, and I think right now, let's see. Okay, they're only one game. They're only one game behind the Texans
The
or
Jaguars.
behind the Jaguars.
They play each other in 2 weeks. I checked earlier.
Exactly. Yeah. So they're right there, Gilbert. They're right there with them, and I'm telling you, like this is gonna be a good fight between
Yeah.
both these teams because they're not the same Texans that they were. D'Amico Ryans is doing a great job with
Dude, the defense stepped up against Joe Burrow in the fourth quarter, and I know you got to move on because you got to get going too. But I am a little concerned about the Bengals because they dug a hole pretty deep that like it's so competitive in the wild card in their own division. Like, what if they lose 2 more? Would that really hurt them? And they got a big showdown with the Ravens. Luckily for them, the
on a
Ravens
short week.
they lost. But yeah, T Higgins might not play, and then
Hendrickson got, I think, or
oh yeah, that could be really
One of those
critical.
two guys
Yeah,
got
Trey
hurt.
Hendrickson got hurt on the last drive, and then also the Steelers and the Browns don't lose. I don't know why. They're terrible offenses, so they could be in trouble. I'm worried about them, but not that much. But one of the best teams in the NFL might not make it. That's kind of wild to think, but I'm ready to go on.
Yeah. Let's switch over now to 49ers and Jaguars. Speaking of the Jaguars, they beat the Bills, but against the Chiefs and the 49ers, it hasn't been good for them. So now obviously we all thought San Francisco, they got their bye week, everything, and they're coming in. And I honestly thought the Jaguars were going to be able to win this game just because of the simple fact that they were the better, like they were coming off their bye. They have some question marks. But I mean, Gilbert, Trevor Lawrence, 17 of 29, 185, 2 interceptions. Then you look over and Brock Purdy, 19 of 26, 296, 3 touchdowns. Oh, and hey, guess who came back? Deebo Samuel and Trent Williams with the boom box and everything coming out. Kittle, 3 catches, 116, 1 touchdown. Ayuk, 3 catches, 55, 1 touchdown. And the other impressive part, Gilbert, was the fact that they were able to get Nick Bosa going, 1.5 sacks. Hargrave, 1.5 sacks. Farrell, 1 sack. Chase Young, half a sack. So Chase Young, and I felt bad for Trevor Lawrence. There was one where Nick Bosa and Chase Young just crushed them and sacked him, and you're like, you don't want to be in the middle of that. But to only put up 3 points at home against the 49ers,
Off
a
a bye
little
week.
disappointing. It's off a bye week. It's a little disappointing, especially if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars, who you have a lot of expectations coming in, especially after the performance that you put on last year. I don't know, Gilbert. I don't know. Obviously, this is more about the 49ers, I guess, but the Jaguars, man, I mean, they're kind of hobbling, and with the Texans kind of playing good football right now.
Yeah, I kind of want to give Jags the same respect as I did the 49ers when they lost 3 consecutive. Like, I wasn't that worried about the 49ers. I'm like, okay, people were crying about Brock Purdy and like, did we make a mistake here? 49er fans were losing it. Why'd you trade Trey Lance? I'm like, okay, fine. Who cares if he's not a top 10 quarterback? But once Deebo and Trent comes back, he's going to be fine. And that's what happened. The bigger problem was the defense. You know what they do? They get Chase Young. So I was never worried about the 49ers. Maybe I do worry about them when it comes to the bigger picture and playing the Eagles. But I'm gonna give the Jags, a pass because what they did to get 5 consecutive wins, and I was skeptical throughout the whole game, the winning streak. I'm like, okay, they're gonna lose here, they're gonna lose here eventually, and they wouldn't lose until they got the big time game with the 49ers. But to win 5 consecutive games, and then have a so-so offense. The defense was kind of picking it up and doing good things. We'll see what the bad news is from Athir, but I'm just gonna say one bad game. But you're on my radar, Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars. Like, where the hell is Calvin Ridley? Why didn't you use more Travis Etienne in this game? Lawrence, why are you holding the ball too long against a very talented defensive front? Why are you throwing reckless interceptions? It was one ugly bad game, but I think Dan, your brother, can appreciate this. I do have faith in Doug Peterson and right the ship. They'll be fine. They'll have a big time game against. They actually play after the Titans game. Fernando, the Jaguars played the Texans and then the Bengals and then the Browns. So those are going to be tough stretches right there. Show me what you got, Trevor Lawrence. You want to be one of the elite quarterbacks. That right here coming up, get another winning streak and prove the doubters wrong. But I'm not going to freak out about them losing to the 49ers one game.
Athir, I think for this to happen, Chargers versus Ravens will be flexed out for Jags at Texans. I don't know why you're saying bad news. When it's a night game, I get home at 2 a.m. When it's a evening game, I get home at about like 10 or 9:30. So I don't know about bad news, but
I know CJ Stroud's entertaining, but Jags and Texans to take over a Lamar Jackson game and Justin Herbert, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but it would have to happen by tomorrow. I think you have to do it with a week advance. So it would have to be tomorrow that they announce it. If not, then it won't happen. But Gilbert, you know what's funny? Right now, you gave me something to think about when you said Jaguars. You're on my radar. You've turned into Chris Jericho, Gilbert. This is now you.
What? You just made the list. Oh no!
It's like you might be a pretender, but I'm not sure yet. You're on the list.
Yeah, exactly. So you've turned into Chris Jericho. I'm okay with I mean, I know I criticized Brock Purdy, but I don't think they should make a quarterback change just because we had said it before. Deebo Samuel's not there. Trent Williams isn't there. Just wait for these guys to come back and we'll see what happens.
They ran the ball better too against the Jaguars.
Exactly. I thought this was an impressive game for one reason and one reason only. Yes, it was your bye week, but at the same time, you went into Jacksonville and you were able to beat a good Jacksonville Jaguars team coached by a former Super Bowl winning head coach. So I was very impressed with the way the 49ers went down there and obviously they took care of business. No, they really did. And I mean, it was and it was right from the beginning. I mean, 4 minutes into the game, you got a 13-yard pass from Brock Purdy. That was a touchdown.
That's like the Purdy experience, right? Like maybe in other games that'd be a pick. That was a reckless throw and double coverage in the back of the end zone. But then he goes and throws a dime to George Kittle. That is a Brock Purdy experience, and we all forget that he's still in his second year. So
yeah,
when he's in a loaded team like that, sometimes his mistakes kind of get forgotten.
It's like what we've been talking about, that everybody's really impatient, and everybody that's why in college football they don't teach you anymore how to play football. Like they just want to that's why they just want to get you playing well, win them a national championship, and then all right, you're the NFL's problem now next. And that's kind of the way everybody's mentality is kind of moving forward when it comes to this. But I am impressed with the 49ers. I mean, now obviously moving forward, they should take command of that division again, but they play the Buccaneers, then they have a short Thanksgiving game against the Seahawks in Seattle. Gilbert, that's going to be definitely a great one. Then Gilbert, 10 days later, they go to the Philadelphia Eagles for a great matchup on December 3rd. That game is going to be very interesting. Gilbert, then Seahawks come to the 49ers, then at Cardinals, then the Ravens come there on Christmas Day. Athir, on Christmas Day, don't even turn on your television, dog. Don't even turn on your television. You don't want to watch that, Athir. You don't want to watch that. You're not going to want to watch it. You go set your cookies out for Santa, do all that. Do not watch that game. Do not watch that game, Athir. I think you're going to be sad when you watch what Chase Young and Nick Bosa do to Lamar Jackson, but yeah.
Be honest, Fernando. Be honest.
Athir, stop. I can't. You can't ask me. I'm not going to answer that question. I cannot do that. I'll give you my feelings. No, I won't. I don't share my feelings. But Athir, I'm not going to answer that question.
Moving on to the Ravens now.
Huh?
Moving on.
Yeah. Let's go over to the Ravens.
There you go.
Athir, all right. We'll see you later, Athir. I know you're gonna leave now since it's Ravens Browns talk. Obviously, this game was very interesting, Gilbert, because right as soon, and that's the interesting part. Gilbert and I got there about 9 o'clock. Gilbert got there right before the 10 o'clock game started, and we were kind of chatting at the beginning.
Yeah, I got there later.
No, I'm not calling. I said right before all the morning games, so that's not bad. But Gilbert, like in one of those, Gilbert goes, and I'm like, what? He's like, they're all over the Browns, and I'm like, oh really? I'm like, I guess. So the game happened, like when the Chargers game started, I think the Ravens were up like 31. They were up 31-17, and I was like, oh, okay, whatever. Then all of a sudden I hear commotion down there at the bottom, and I'm like, oh wow. And all of a sudden they come back and they win. Inspired by a Elijah Moore touchdown, then Greg Newsome interception, return for a touchdown, and then Dustin Hopkins. I know everybody remembers that guy. He hits a 40-yard
extra point earlier before. So
he did. Yeah, he did. That's why it was a 31-30. Can you imagine Browns fans would have gone into cardiac arrest if it would have ended 31-30 in that game? But Lamar Jackson, 13-23, 223. Wow, there's a lot of threes. 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Lamar Jackson was the rushing attack, 8 carries, 41 yards. Zay Flowers, 5 receptions, 73 yards. Odell had 1 catch for 40, which was the touchdown. That was just blown coverage. But Deshaun Watson, 20-34, 213, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Ford, 17 carries, 107. I thought Amari Cooper kind of turned it on also late in the game. 6 catches, 98 yards. Gilbert, just 2 pick sixes. This game had everything you really wanted. I mean, a comeback, 2 pick sixes, just everything and then, by the way, Kyle Hamilton just like literally intercepts the ball and then he just kind of walks into the end zone. I was like, okay, there's that swag. But Gilbert, take it away. What did you think of this?
Yeah, for the 3rd time, the Ravens had a very head-scratching defeat. They blew the game against the Colts. They blew the game against the Steelers. And now they blew the game against the Browns. What does it say, Fernando? I was making you laugh.
Ravens will be there at the end. Compas on the beat will be great. Without Fernando, he will be crying and hide.
Okay. But I am concerned about the Ravens about blowing a 3rd game like that. And Fernando, they had 14-point advantages multiple times in this game. How do you blow twice or 3 times 14-point leads? And at one point they scored, I think it was the Mitchell running back who kind of came onto the scene lately.
Yeah.
Like they went up 14 with like 8 minutes to go, and I'm like, cool, I think I'm good here because I did pick them in our pick'ems challenge, and you were kind of worried because you and your bro got the Browns. I'm like, all right, this is good. And then like a pick 6, and then what? Like how is it 31-30? And then obviously Deshaun Watson, which he might have had his best game as a Brown. It wasn't the best, but
I disagree, it wasn't, but
he was fine to make.
By the way, I looked and it was like 31-24, and I was like, oh, okay. I like scrolled down to kind of see on NFL on the website that we get all of our stats. Then I look up and I'm like, is that a typo? 31-30? I'm like, what happened? And then I saw that it was like a pick 6. I was like, wow. I'm like, that's incredible. Well, I didn't think Lamar Jackson turned the ball over.
Let me say this about the Ravens, because I know some of us want to be in victories was really high on the Ravens. I was in the middle, and you and your bro were really low. We're not, I won't say really, but you were kind of not sold on the Ravens. And for me, I was kind of more with you guys because like we've seen the movie before. Like, can this passing attack play from behind? They weren't behind technically in this game, but they couldn't put a team away. And when you have the recipe to run the ball, you tend to put the team away. But they couldn't run the freaking football, Fernando. They couldn't score in the last 3 or 4 drives, whatever the heck it was. And then like, okay, so it's on your quarterback, the guy you paid a bunch of money in the offseason. He throws a pick 6, and then you ask for another drive. Okay, Odell Beckham's not gonna do it for you. Rashad Bateman's not gonna do it for you. Just kind of guard Mark Andrews and Zay Flowers. So we kind of saw that glimpse of like, if you fall behind to like a real high scoring team, like you're gonna be in trouble. And that's what I'm worried about these Ravens. I know that today's football is like running the ball and defense are kind of winning games, but like when it comes to the playoffs, it's a whole ball game. And we kind of saw that. But I'm concerned about the passing attack, Fernando, and I'm concerned about the 3 blown leads in the 4th quarter. Like, when do you see a John Harbaugh coach team do that? So all that's kind of like, you're on my list, Fernando. How about that?
Yeah, exactly. You just made the list. That's exactly why, Gilbert, I've kind of kept I always keep my circle small, but when it comes to NFL teams, I've really kept it small of who I really think can win this. The only 3 teams that I've seen the grit from are the Eagles, the 49ers, even though they've kind of been up and down, and the Chiefs, to be honest. I mean, I know the Chiefs are making it work with what they have. I know their offense hasn't been impressive, but those are the only 3 teams that I really see that I'm like, oh, wow, yes, another team can make the Super Bowl, another team can make a run and ultimately upset the Chiefs. I get it, but I haven't really seen that grit from anyone else. So I really think that those 3 teams are in a different category than everybody else. Because, like, yeah, the Bengals also are on kind of this roller coaster ride, which I'm sure by the end of the season I'll say, yeah, I'll put them in there, and it's 4 teams. You know what? No, yeah, no, I'm not ready to put them in there yet, but there's 3 teams right now that I think have that grid to be able to compete, and I just don't see the Ravens in there because, like I said, I've seen this story before. I don't think they have the big time weapons that everybody thinks. I don't think Odell has done almost like I think Odell's literally getting paid to run laps out there and be a decoy almost. Their defense, yeah, their pass rush is really good, but like their offensive line, Ronnie Staley got hurt yesterday. What's that going to look like moving forward? Well, I mean, and I think I just saw John Harbaugh isn't ready to say that he's not going to play on Thursday. That doesn't matter, though. I'm just saying in general. But the pass rush.
And I think they might have lost Marlon Humphrey, right, to an injury.
Yeah, I think so. And then Clowney, I think. Maybe Clowney came back. When I saw he was kind of hobbling off the field. So it'll definitely be interesting, Gilbert. But I'm really I'm really interested to see what the Ravens can do moving forward. Because I mean, like we said, like Gilbert has said it. I mean, Gilbert's he has a kinder heart than I do, but that back end of the schedule is really what's going to test. I mean, hell, I don't even think the Rams game, but the Rams are still tough. But listen to this: it's Bengals at Chargers. They're going to have 10 days to prepare for the Chargers. Rams at Ravens, Ravens at Jags, Ravens at 49ers. If you don't watch that one, Dolphins at Ravens, and then Steelers and Ravens. Like, Gilbert, that's a gauntlet if I've ever seen it to end a season. I mean, that's going to definitely be
like a 12-5 season. Is that enough to win a division?
Ravens
maybe.
At 49ers. Let's go. Brock Purdy will be on his back all night long. Stop a theater. Stop doing that. But yeah, go. But that's what I'm saying. Like, that schedule to end it. Let's go, Richmond. That schedule to end it is going to be very tough. Very, very tough. But it's going to show if they have the grit or if they're the team that Dan and Diego and I think that they are. Like, yeah, they have some weapons. They have some good. They've made some solid additions. I mean, Clowney and Kyle Van Noy came at the end of training camp or at the beginning of the season, and they've done well. But I think Humphrey also got hurt in that game yesterday as well. Yeah. So, but
I'm wondering, like, at what point does your talent? I mean, at what point does you not having talent defense is going to hurt you? Like, yeah, you can scheme up and be, have a lot of disguises, but it's going to be one offense going to be guessing right on your disguise. It's going to pick you apart. Can you get the pressure then? That's what I'm worried about the Ravens defense overall.
If the Ravens lose to the Chargers, I think all hell will break loose there, and I think people will be like, "What the?" But
if they lose to the Bengals on Thursday, maybe even that. It's like, these guys are frauds. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
I think it'll be tough. I think that one will be tough. The only reason why I'm saying the other ones because they're flying cross country. It's kind of a night game stuff. Weird stuff always happens in those games. But
I know we're not making a pick yet, but I don't even know who to pick for Bengals Ravens. Like both of them losing is very concerning, and the short week is gonna be tough.
I know you're not a Ravens fan of the year. I have to give you crap though. I can't just let you skate out here and tell me that I'm out of Compas on the beat. I mean, unless Gilbert has something to tell me, but that I'm going to be crying. I know you're not a Raven. This kind of
love at the area. He's just giving you a hard time.
This sounds like Dan and Diego. I'm tired of seeing Mahomes in the Super Bowl. You don't have to worry about Mahomes. If they make it to the Super Bowl this year, dude, you're going to have to worry. Mahomes isn't even going to be in the same conversation. It's all going to be about Taylor Swift, dude, Travis Kelce, and then the Kelce, I don't mind Jason Kelce. I don't even mind Travis. But the
AFC is wide open, man. It could be a year or not. It might not be Mahomes. I don't know because I don't.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I mean, there's a lot of talent in the AFC. But all right, folks, we appreciate you guys so much for jumping on with us. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let's get some likes up there. Let's hit the like button. Let's let your compas know what your compas on the beat are doing. We will be dropping the episode later this week, and a lot of exciting things happen. What's it called? Vic the producer is getting hitched.
Yeah.
This weekend. So Gilbert will be out in Oklahoma doing that, but definitely some exciting times. Thank you guys again so much for rocking with us. Athir, thank you so much for always bringing the noise. We appreciate you. We appreciate everybody who commented. Thank you guys so much. Have a good one, and thank you guys.